we are going to understand about Cadre Allocation Policy of 2017. Who are cadre controlling authorities? So what do we mean by insider and outsider classification? So these people are given an additional choice. They will look into these three things and in the order of merit, in the order of rank, and if needed they can swap that particular cadre with another candidate, okay, who have given preference. Hello everyone, welcome to UPSC Talks from Lukman IAS. My name is Jahidul, and in this video today we are going to understand about Cadre Allocation Policy of 2017. So basically we need to understand what is Cadre Allocation Policy. Cadre Allocation Policy is that policy through which the Government of India allocates states to candidates who have qualified UPSC Civil Services examination, and Cadre Allocation Policy is applicable for all India services. All India services are Indian Administrative Services, Indian Police Services and Indian Forest Services. And related to this, we have something which is known as cadre controlling authorities. So what are cadre controlling authorities? Cadre controlling authorities are those authorities that determine the vacancies in different cadres or in different states, and at the same time they determine the breakup in these vacancies also. Breakup in the sense like how many vacancies are there for unreserved category, how many vacancies are there for OBC, SC, ST and also persons with benchmark disabilities. Alright. So who are cadre controlling authorities? One of the cadre controlling authorities, Department of Personnel and Training under the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. And other cadre controlling authority is Ministry of Home Affairs, and the third cadre controlling authority is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Alright. So this is about cadre controlling authorities. Cadre controlling authorities also determine vacancies for insiders and outsiders. So there is a classification of insider and outsider. So what do we mean by insider and outsider classification? Basically, let's consider you are a candidate, you belong to Madhya Pradesh in the sense that you are born in Madhya Pradesh or you are domiciled in Madhya Pradesh. You have qualified UPSC Civil Services examination, you have got IAS, and if you are allocated Madhya Pradesh cadre, so you will be considered to be an insider of Madhya Pradesh. And at the same time, you are from Madhya Pradesh, let's consider, but if you are allocated Tamil Nadu as a cadre, so in Tamil Nadu you will be considered an outsider. So why insider outsider is there? So that there is fair distribution of officers across India. Okay, this is one part, and since these officers are placed in different states, so like they will have a national spirit, so national integration will be there. Okay, so there are multiple reasons for which, let's say, insider outsider classification is there in civil services examination. And so when we talk about this cadre allocation policy of 2017, right, so they have mentioned multiple points, and I'm going to take you through those points to help you clearly understand about the cadre allocation policy. So when we talk about this this particular point number 2, all right, here they have mentioned states or joint cadres are divided into 5 zones. Basically in the cadre allocation policy they have mentioned about 5 different zones. And what are these zones? These are like 5 zones are zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 and zone 5. So in each zone there are multiple states. For example, in zone 1 we have Egmat, right, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Rajasthan and Haryana. Remember, we are in 2024 now, and this cadre allocation policy was made in 2017. So at that time Jammu Kashmir was a state, it had statehood. But in 2019, right, statehood was taken away from Jammu and Kashmir. It was, let's say, divided, and then Jammu and Kashmir has received the status of union territory. So after the abrogation of, let's say like abrogation of Article 370, right, the Government of India had done amendment to this cadre allocation policy in 2019, whereby they have removed Jammu and Kashmir from zone 1. All right. And when we talk about zone 2, we have Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand and Odisha. If we talk about zone 3, we have Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Then in zone 4 we have West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura and Nagaland. In zone 5 we have Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, right? So these are the states in these zones. So you need to remember that there are 5 zones, right? And while you fill the detailed application form 2, I have already made a video related to detailed application form. It will be out soon in our UPSC Talks channel, right? So there I have discussed in detail how to fill the detailed application form 2. And there was let's say column number 8, there were 2 sections, 8A and 8B. These were related to zone selection and cadre selection, okay, for All India Service, for Indian Administrative Service and Indian Police Service, right? So there were 2 different tables and you need to fill those tables to be allocated a cadre, alright. So this is the thing. When we talk about point number 3, this point number 3 is also very important, okay. It is very simple point, fairly simple. It says the candidate shall first give their choice in descending order of preference from among the zones. Means, I would like to explain point number 3 through detailed application form 2, okay, DAF 2. Let me showcase the DAF 2. So here we can see that one table is given. So in this particular table, what they have done is in this table, they have mentioned about different zones, okay, and they have mentioned those states that we have just studied, alright. So here what you need to do, if you are a student or if you are a person from Uttar Pradesh and if you want to work in Uttar Pradesh after getting All India Service like IAS or IPS, right, in that case what you need to do is you need to give first preference to your zone where your state lies. For example, let's say here zone 2, here Uttar Pradesh lies, so you have to give first preference to this zone, and after then within zone 2 in Uttar Pradesh you have to give first preference. So only then it will be considered to be your home state, okay. So first of all what you need to do, you need to give preference to each zone, like zone 2 you have given first preference, zone 3 you have given second preference, zone first you have given third preference, zone 4 you have given fourth preference, zone 5 you have given fifth preference. So you have to give preferences to different zones. This was your first preference of zone. Here you have given first preference as Uttar Pradesh. Then in second let's say preference, your second zone, here you have to give first preference. In the third zone you have to give the first preference, right, whichever state you want to give first preference. Then zone 4 first preference, zone 5 first preference. So in each zone you need to fill the first preference first and then you need to go for filling the second preference. So in this manner you need to fill all these zones. So this is, let's say point A, it is related to Indian Administrative Service. Then similarly point 8B, it is related to Indian Police Service. Again you need to follow the same practice, right? And we have discussed why there are 2 similar tables, right? It is because there are 2 different services. For IAS, 1 table, for IPS, the other table. If you are given IPS, maybe you would like to work in some other state where law and order, let's say needs to be worked on, okay. Let us quickly move to point number 4, okay. Point number 4 says that if a candidate does not give any preference for any of the zones or cadres, means in the table that we have seen 5 zones are there and in each zone there are multiple states. It is possible that that one of the candidate does not want to work in one particular zone. It can be northeastern states, it can be states in South India, it can be, let's say, state in any other zone. So it is possible that you have given preference to only 3 zones and you have selected the states accordingly. You have not given preference to other zones. So related to that, this point is there, point number 4. It says if a candidate does not give any preference to any of the zones or cadres, it will be presumed that he has no specific preference for those zones or cadres. It means you have not given preference to certain zones and they will consider that you don't have any preference over those zones or cadres. But it is not the case that those zones or cadres will not be allocated to you. Those zones or cadres can be allocated to you, okay. But the mechanism that they are going to follow is mentioned over here. It says accordingly, if he is not allocated to any one of the cadre for which he has indicated preference, means you have given preference to only 3 zones, right, but services, you are not given a cadre in those 3 zones, So in that case, what will happen? He shall be allotted along with other such candidates in the order of rank to any of the remaining cadres arranged in alphabetical order. So like you will be categorized, I mean like you will be given cadre along with other candidates, and they will put the states right in alphabetical order, and then they are going to allocate this cadre to you, in which there are like those cadres will be allocated where there is vacancy, okay, after allocation to all candidates who can be allocated to cadres in their preference. So it is very important that like you give preference, right, you fill the entire table 8A and 8B consciously, because if you don't give preference, so like that will become random, okay. And if you give preference, so you will be given, let's say like you will be allocated a cadre according to your preference. So those people who give preference, so their preference will be taken care of first. If you have not given any preference, so after taking care of preference of those candidates, then your turn will come. So it is better that like you have your own preference, right, while filling the DAF 2, alright. So this is point number 5, and it says, however, a candidate claiming, now this point number 5 is related to those candidates who are persons with benchmark disability, means those people who are having physically disabled quota. So these people are given an additional choice to select a state apart from their home state. Generally all candidates, whether they are from unreserved category, OBC, SC, ST, right, so they can select their home state and then they can fill their other thing. But these people with benchmark disability or persons with disabled quota, they have an additional choice of selecting another state, right. So the government will try to give them that state if their first state or home state is not, means like they did not get their cadre in their home state, so that second preference will be taken care of by the government. So it says, however, if a candidate claiming benefit of reservation under physically disabled quota shall have an additional option to indicate his preference at the time of indicating preference for various zones or cadres thereunder for any one state or cadre other than the home state of his first preferred zone, okay. So are you understanding this point? This point is very important. This is applicable for those people who have physical disability quota, alright. Now let us move to point number 6. What this point says, basically this point number 6, what this point says, a candidate shall be allotted to his home cadre on the basis of his merit, preference and vacancy available at his turn in his category, okay. So to allocate a home cadre, they look into 3 important points. What are those points? What is your merit? Means like what is your rank in the civil services exam. Second thing is, did you fill in your preference, right, that you would like to be considered for your home state or not. Third point is whether there is a vacancy in that home state, insider vacancy is there or not. Okay, so they will look into these 3 things, and in the order of merit, in the order of rank, when your turn will come, so you will be allocated the service accordingly. For allocation to home cadre against an insider vacancy, a candidate will be required to express his first preference to the zone in which his home cadre falls, as well as the first preference to the home cadre within that relevant zone. Otherwise, he shall not be considered for his home cadre at all. Means, if you have not given first preference to your home state, and if you have not claimed it to be your home state, so like you will not be considered at all for home cadre. You need to give first preference to your home zone and home state for being considered, otherwise you will not be considered. Then now point number 7 is little bit technical point, okay, very much technical, and there are multiple points under point number 7. And here they are talking about the mechanism that they are going to follow to fill an insider vacancy. Okay, I told about this thing in the beginning of this video, that cadre controlling authorities decide insider and outsider vacancies, right? So first of all, they will fill the insider vacancy, okay, and let's consider that for IAS there are few vacancies, so they will try to fill that insider vacancy. If vacancy is there but candidate is not there, so they are going to follow some mechanism to fill that vacancy, and what is that mechanism? It is mentioned here, okay. So it says, if an unreserved candidate is not available to fill unreserved insider vacancy, means there is a state, let's say Bihar, there is an unreserved insider vacancy for IAS, but a candidate is not there who has claimed Bihar as their home state, right, in the civil services exam through DAF 2, who has not filled preference. So vacancy is there but candidate is not there. So how they are going to fill that unreserved vacancy? This is the mechanism. So they will try to find out an insider ST candidate. If there is a candidate who is ST insider ST candidate, if he is available, they are going to fill that vacancy with that candidate. Okay. If that candidate is not there, or okay, there is no outsider vacancy available in that cadre. So in that case, they will move to the next one. They will move for an SC candidate. They will look for an SC candidate with the condition that there must be an outsider SC vacancy in that state. Okay, to fill that unreserved vacancy. Okay. If an insider SC candidate is not there or an outsider SC vacancy is not there, in that case they will try to fill that vacancy with an insider OBC candidate. Okay, provided that there is an OBC outsider vacancy available to facilitate this exchange. So first point under point number 7, right, A point, it is about there is a vacancy for an unreserved category candidate, but candidate is not there. How they are filling that vacancy they have mentioned. Now in point B, they are going to follow the similar mechanism, but in this case they are considering the vacancy for an insider OBC candidate. Means there is a vacancy created for insider OBC candidate, but they are saying that if an insider OBC candidate is not available, how they are going to fill that vacancy. So that vacancy would be first filled by an insider ST candidate, provided that there is an provided that there is an outsider ST vacancy is there, and then they are going to look for insider SC candidate. Okay, if it is also not there, then they are going to look for an insider unreserved candidate. All right. So this is the mechanism. Now third point, point C, it says now how they are going to fill an insider SC vacancy. Let's consider there is an insider SC vacancy, but insider SC candidate is not there. Then they will try to fill that vacancy with an insider ST candidate, provided that there is an outsider ST vacancy is available. Okay, and then they are going to fill that by an insider OBC candidate. Okay, and then finally they are going to try to fill it with an insider unreserved candidate. Okay, and they are going to create conditions for that, mutatis mutandis, means like by following the conditions, right. Then now fourth point is related to insider ST vacancy. There is an insider ST vacancy, candidate is not there. How they are going to fill that vacancy? Okay, they have mentioned this iteration process. So they are going to look for an insider SC candidate, then by an insider OBC candidate, and then they are going to look for an insider unreserved candidate with the same conditions. Okay, so this is how they are going to fill the vacancy. Okay, so that point was kind of little bit technical, and it is applicable for all those candidates, I mean for who have qualified the UPSC mains exam, who are going to fill the detailed application form too. You should be knowing about this thing, because it affects where you are going to be, let's say, getting service, in which cadre you are going to work. All right. And then 8th point, it says that cadre allocation process will be a 3-step process. Okay, cadre allocation, that how cadre controlling authorities are going to allocate cadre. It is a 3-step process. The first step, they say all those candidates who can be allocated against insider vacancies available in their category would be allocated. Means cadre controlling authorities have created vacancies, insider, outsider, and they have gone for breakup also. And first of all, they will try to fill the insider vacancies, provided that insider candidates are there. Okay. If insider candidates are not there, they are going to follow the table number, let's say point number 7 that we discussed, all these points. All right. So after this, the second point, I mean second step, The candidates who are eligible for allocation to their home cadre as per para 7 above will be allocated first as per clause in para above. Means those candidates who have claimed that this is my home state, like candidates have selected that UP is my home state, right? So first of all, the home cadres will be allocated to the candidates. Okay, this is the thing. Even after this exchange in para 7 above, if an insider vacancy cannot be filled, it would be converted into an outsider vacancy. Means like after this doing this, I mean like if insider vacancies are not filled, then they are going to convert that insider vacancy into outsider vacancy, so that outsiders can also be provided service in that cadre. Okay, but they are not going to carry it forward to the next exam year. That exam year itself they are going to fill those vacancies. All right. And finally the third part, here they say the allocation against outsider vacancies, including outsider vacancies which remained eventually unfulfilled after allocation as per clause 1 and 2 in para 8 above. Means like now we have discussed only 2 points under para 8. This is the third point. So they say if outsider vacancies are still not filled, I mean like they are still vacant, vacancies are there, candidate is not there, vacant. All right. So in that case, what now their allocation against outsider vacancies to candidates in respective categories shall be done in the following manner. Means like how they are going to fill the outsider vacancies. So for this they are going to follow these processes. Okay, I have already discussed this process while let's say like you were filling the DAF 2, or while we discussed how to fill the DAF 2. So now what they are going to do, the first choice for the cadre in the first preferred zone would be considered in the order of merit. Means there is a year 2000, let's say 2024 exam. Now mains exam you have already given, you are going to appear in interview. After you appear in interview, finally UPSC is going to come up with a merit list, rank number 1, 2, 3 up to the last rank, whatever is the total number of vacancy. So first of all they will see the rank 1, then rank 2, rank 3. So this is order of merit. Rank 1, if they have selected whichever home cadre they have selected, so they will be given their home cadre first, then they will look for rank 2. This manner they are going to fill the insider vacancies, they are going to fill the outsider vacancies that way. So it says the first choice for the cadre in the first preferred zone would be considered in the order of merit. A candidate who has got top rank, they will be considered first. All right. Second point, if the candidate does not get allocated to the first preferred cadre in his first preferred zone, then he would be considered for the first preferred cadre in his second preferred zone, and so on till the first preferred cadre of the fifth preferred zone is done. Means they are going to look for each zone. Zone 1 first preference, zone 2 your first preference, zone 3 first preference of cadres. Okay, within each zone, within each zone you have selected a cadre where you have given first preference. So they are going to look for first preference across different zones. They will try to, let's say, give you cadre accordingly. Okay, so after this first iteration is done, then they are going to go for the second iteration. So it is if the candidate does not get allocated to the first preferred cadre of any zone, then he would be considered for the second preferred cadre of the first preferred zone. Okay, so now they are going to look for second cadre in the first preferred zone. So open the, I mean like you need to open the DAF 2 form where it is mentioned. I can also showcase, I have already showcased this particular thing. I hope you are understanding, you are able to relate it with that table. Now finally, however, in this process, if the cadre for which allocation is being considered is the home cadre of the candidate, then that preference for the home cadre in the zone would be ignored. Means during this consideration, if one of the candidate, he belongs to UP, but that candidate has not selected UP to be his home state, means like he has not preferred. In that case, the cadre allocation authorities, they are going to ignore this. They are going to move to the next cadre for you. Okay, and if needed, they can swap that particular cadre with another candidate, okay, who have given preference for let's say that cadre. Okay, so what you need to do is like you need to read these points very clearly. Okay, here they have mentioned about physically disabled candidates also. physically disabled candidates will get another, let's say, like, another chance apart from his home state. And if in case there are vacancies, but eventually these vacancies are not filled by the candidates, then they are going to carry forward these vacancies to the subsequent civil services examination. Okay, means for disability quota candidates, for physical disability quota candidates, there is a vacancy. After following all the cadre allocation process, if that vacancy is still vacant, I mean like a candidate was not found, then they are going to carry forward that vacancy to the next exam year. Okay, so that way they are going to do. Now this is point number 9. It says a reserved category candidate selected on general merit. This is a very important point. Okay, very important point. Recently one candidate, he has asked me this question on WhatsApp. Okay, so I don't have that let's say WhatsApp chat with me as of now. So he has asked that, like, I am a reserved category candidate, if I get top rank, so will I be considered in unreserved category, or like I will be given let's say service according to my reservation category. So this is the answer to this question. What is answer? It says if there is a reserved category candidate, means the candidate is SC or ST or OBC, or that candidate is let's say like persons with benchmark disability, so it is a reserved category candidate. A reserved category candidate selected on general merit standard shall be eligible for allocation against the available unreserved category vacancy as per his merit and preference. But if he cannot be allocated against such vacancy, means let us take the example of Tina Dabi. Okay, she had a reservation category, but the thing is she scored so high in the UPSC civil services examination. I mean like mains and personality test, overall she scored very high, she got All India rank 1. Okay, despite being from the reserved category, she was allocated a service from the unreserved category. I mean like because like she fell into the general category, okay, according to her rank. So this is the thing. But the thing is, like, there can be candidates who are from reserved category, but like they are not falling in the general merit, they have lower rank. So in that case, what they are going to do, he cannot be allocated against such vacancy, for he is lower in rank as compared with other general category candidate. He shall be considered for allocation as per his merit and preference against the available vacancy of his category. Okay, so in that case, he will be considered according to his rank, he will be considered according to his, let's say like preference, and also according to his category, like that. So a candidate who has reservation category, but like if they score really high, so they can be considered under unreserved quota also. They will be allocated cadre, they will be allocated service accordingly. So this is point number 10. So allocation with reference to limited preference candidate shall be governed in accordance with procedure, means like we have discussed para number 4, where we discussed that there is a candidate that he did not fill all the let's say tables in all the fields in that table where zones are mentioned, cadres are mentioned. He might have filled only 1, or he might have filled only 2 or 3. In that case, means like how the cadre allocation policy is going to take care of that thing, it is mentioned over here. Okay, so they say allocation with reference to limited preference candidates shall be governed in accordance with the procedure outlined in para 4. We already discussed, you can go back to this video, right there you can see it. Normally limited preference candidates are assigned cadres in the end. Okay, means those candidates who have filled limited choice, they will be given cadre at the end, because they have not given preference. Those people who have given preference, they will considered first. Okay, therefore, however, policy also lays down allocation of such candidates in their respective category. Okay, means like you have not selected any cadre, but you will be considered for your category, whichever category you belong to. Therefore, because of migration of general merit candidates to their own category, a situation may arise where both reserved category and general category vacancies are left unfilled. As general candidates cannot be allocated against reserved vacancies, it is mandatory for to allocate first cadres to these general category limited quota preference candidates. Okay, so here now they are saying that like the policy considers that the cadre controlling authorities will take care of this. Okay. So what they are going to do, cadre controlling authorities, they are going to pull together all reserved category candidates who have been already allocated cadre plus unallocated reserved candidates. The cadre controlling authorities are going to pull together all the cadres allocated to the reserved category against outsider vacancies plus this is the thing. I mean like they are expecting that the cadre controlling authorities are going to look after this particular thing. The policy cannot be so detailed. I mean like there will be some scope for the cadre controlling authorities to look after wherever I mean like some doubt is there, something is there. So cadre controlling authorities are the ones who have to take care of it. Now they are saying that cadre allocation exercise for IAS, Indian Administrative Services, shall be done as early as possible and before the commencement of the foundation course in Labasna. Means after you have qualified the UPSC Civil Services exam, before you join the foundation course at Labasna, before that let's say like cadres will be allocated to IAS. Okay, so 1/3 of the like half of the work is done, because through civil services examination only 2 all India services are there: Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service. Indian Forest Service is a separate examination altogether, although prelims exam is common but the mains exam is different. Okay, so for IAS, before commencement of the foundation course at Labasna, cadres will be allocated, and the cadre allocation exercise for IPS or IFoS shall be done immediately after appointments have been made. Alright. This cadre allocation policy issues, I mean like they are saying that this particular cadre allocation policy supersedes, okay, any previous existing cadre allocation policy. Alright. And after this, let's say like there was an memorandum, or this is amendment in the cadre allocation policy of 2017. I have discussed about it in the beginning itself, that in zone 1 earlier Jammu and Kashmir was mentioned, but with this particular office memorandum or they have done an amendment whereby they have deleted Jammu and Kashmir from zone 1. Okay, this is the thing. So that was all from my side. Let's say for this topic, which is cadre allocation policy of 2017. If in case if you have some additional doubts, if you have some questions that you think that it needs to be addressed, you can reach out to us. At the end of this video, we will share our contact details, and you can also let's say join our interview guidance program. We conduct interview guidance program at Lukman IAS, right? And we have a very esteemed panel of mock interview panelists, and they are the ones let's say who are going to guide you, and they're going to take the mock interviews also. All right, so that's all from my side. If you have anything in mind, kindly let's say write about it in the comment section. All right, so we will respond to your comments also. Thank you so much.